let's talk postpartum bleeding, or what we, the midwives, call Lochia. Postpartum bleeding is that bleeding that starts immediately after a woman gives birth to her newborn, her bundle of joy. This bleeding, or this Lochia, lasts on the average between 2 to 4 weeks, but in some instances it might extend to 8 weeks. So if you notice that your postpartum bleeding is lasting more than 4 weeks, there is no cause for alarm. That is absolutely normal for some. But if you begin to notice the bleeding is so heavy that you have to change your pad on the hour, every hour, or a foul smell, an offensive smell to you that is different from your usual vaginal flora or the smell of your menstrual blood, speak to your midwife or the doctor that is looking after you. Again, if you notice heavy clots, like we'll advise here in the UK, bigger than 2-pound coins, or maybe I say about the size of a strawberry, I will say speak to your midwife. These might all be signs of infection. Postpartum bleed, or Lochia, is your body's way of cleaning out your uterus or your womb, where your baby has been carried nicely and comfortably the past 3 trimesters before birth. And as the womb begins to contract itself back or shrink itself back to normal before pregnancy, it begins to clean out, and that clean out is what the woman experiences as postpartum bleed. And as the day goes by, depending on each individual woman, it begins to change from bright red gradually to brown to yellowish or pinkish, and gradually fades away. It's not unusual to have a bit of a roller coaster experience with postpartum bleed. When I mean roller coaster experience, I'm talking about 1 minute you think it's gone, the next minute it shows up again. That is absolutely normal as well. That is because as your activity levels begin to increase, it's not unusual to experience another surge of postpartum bleeding. As long as it doesn't exceed what I have mentioned before, it's not too heavy that you have to change your panty liner on the hour, it doesn't have big clots bigger than 2-pound coins, neither does it have any offensive odor, it is absolutely normal. And there's something about day 7, and it's just my personal experience as a midwife looking after postpartum moms. I always get that concerning question around day 7 and 14, and women begin to say, oh my God, I thought I am done with this, but it showed up again. Is that okay? It's absolutely okay, because your activity levels have increased. Also, if you're a breastfeeding mom, it's also not unusual because of the hormones that are responsible for conducting and producing breast milk. And so when you're breastfeeding, that is a perfect time for your womb to get the signal to fold in a bit more, shrink a bit more, and that also releases more postpartum bleeding. So if you have been nervous about it, or you have been worried about it all of these days because it's lasting longer than 2 weeks or 4 weeks, this is your sign to stay calm. Breathe in through your nose, hold for 1 second, and gradually exhale like you're blowing off a candle. Just think, relax. You are an amazing mom. Don't you dare forget that. Remember to like this video, leave your questions, leave your contributions. I love to hear your own experience. And just share. You never know who needs this information.